Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm hoping that this audio isn't too loud. Please let me know, because, hey, I have a new microphone, and that's pretty cool. With me today is everyone's very favorite Cora, who will also do a separate mic check because I am playing with mixers.
Hello, tell me if you can hear me. I would hope I'm your favorite Cora. If you know any others, you're not allowed to love them more than you love me.
Cora is a little quiet. That's okay.
Quiet.
How's that, Cora?
Is that a me or a you problem?
That's 100% a me problem. I can play with fancy dials. I'm learning all about streaming.
Oh, someone's already noticed I have a new microphone. Look at it. It's big. I think it might sound worse. I haven't played with the levels yet. I've heard it might sound worse. Hopefully it sounds better.
No pilot mic anymore. No, it's still here. It's disabled. See, I can pull the boom out, but apparently this microphone's a little bit better and you shouldn't hear all the plosives anymore. And if you do, well, then I just need to take diction lessons, because that's a
Is it still a Tim stream if it's not exploding every time you say the word Pathfinder?
Ouch, that hurts me a little bit in my soul. Hey, Cora, did you put up that timer? Because I noticed that timer. Like, what's that timer for?
Uh-oh. Who put a timer there? Very strange. Well, let me log into your world, by the way.
That's because it's not turned on yet.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I guess we should actually start. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to our beginner unboxing. I don't know how you do an unboxing virtually, but we're all going to discover this together.
We will. It's going to be very fun. And I'm not going to get fired for saying something I shouldn't say. I have a list of things that Napa doesn't want me to talk about, and I'm not going to talk about them.
Okay, so I'm going to switch over to our first view. So this is just a look of a Foundry login screen. And so here's where you sort of log in. Now, I'm assuming that you'll all go to the Paizo website in some predetermined amount of time that may or may not be about 7.5 minutes from now. And then after the DDoS and the site goes down for a couple of hours, actually be able to log in and buy a key. Buying and redeeming a license key is something that I'd love to demo, but I don't know how to hide my own license keys. So I will not be doing that part. But you go to the website, you will get issued a key, then you log into the Foundry VTT.com website, and in there you can log into your profile. And in your profile, there's a place that you can redeem keys. There are directions that I'm sure are absolutely everywhere that will tell you exactly how to do this. So this is assuming that you've redeemed your key. Once you've redeemed your key, you'll get a little bar that says, hey, you've redeemed a key for the Pathfinder beginner box, and here is your key, and then you don't need to worry, because now Foundry knows and it's tied to your license. And that's really the important part. Once that's all done, you can turn on Foundry. And here's our normal view: game worlds, game systems. And the part that you want is add-on modules. So you're going to go to the install modules, and it will be listed under premium content. It will be listed under premium content very soon because it is not live, but it'll look like this. And instead of saying not owned, it will look like, I know I have Demon Queen Awakens. So I've installed it on my version, but you'll have a little button where you can install it just like any other module. It's easiest to find under premium content. It will still be in the all packages one. Once it is all happily installed, you will see it down here where it says Pathfinder Beginner Box with various very important people whose names are up. So mine is freshly updated, 1.0.0, obviously the release value. Next, you're going to go...
Am I first on the credits? Did they put my name? Oh, no, okay. Mine's just the only one that's not a link. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can start calling you Andrew, but that's just weird, Cora.
That would be funny, though.
Well,
there's a whole bunch of Andrews that worked on this. There's like 4. It's really good. I
mean, I'm not Andrew White, so I have an idea of what you look like and what Cody looks like, so...
Oh.
Andrew. Oh, that's a little savage, isn't it? Was that on the list? Am I not allowed to slag him? I don't remember.
Yeah, you're not allowed to insult any Paizo employees. Right, except Alex. He likes it, I think.
Got it. Right, so we'll go. I've created a brand new world, so you can create a world, and that's what you want to do. You're not installing a world, you're creating a world, and then you will launch it. I have pre-launched this just so I could make a login for Cora, so Cora can now log in as well. The only module I've turned on is pings, so that Cora can ping things and move stuff around. So it's going to open up, and hey, look, there's absolutely nothing here. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your managing your modules, and right here, hey, Pathfinder beginner box. We'll save all the module settings, and it will load everything up. So what you want is in here, it'll open up the Pathfinder beginners box, which you can find in your compendiums under adventures. And you're going to click on Menace under Otari. And by doing that, hey, we get a cool screen. It tells you all about it, what's inside, and what we will say is we will import our adventures. Then we get a happy message letting us know that we'll import, and then done. I don't know, is that like the unboxing? I've now installed it. It looks pretty
you've
pretty.
Unboxed it. Good stream, everyone. I'll see you for Abomination Vaults in, what is it, a month?
So yeah, it'll open up with the getting started link. It'll have all sorts of cool stuff. The important thing to note is we can look here, and the journals, first of all, look just amazing. So here we have text boxes with explanations, specific ones. So the Foundry VTT advice is obviously not part of the beginner's box. One thing that they do note in getting started is that some of the text in a couple of places is a little bit changed to reflect that, hey, we don't actually have pages here. Instead, we've got journal entries and links. And so you can just click on everything and it goes there. Very definite encounters. So encounter boxes like this, and we'll open up one later. And underneath, you'll even have links to the enemies. In fact, why don't we just go and do that right now? I think that seems like a good idea, right?
I'm just letting you. It's funny, you know your way around this so well. One might think you had early access to it.
I don't know. It's just weird, right? So you can see here the encounter right in the header. It says giant rats, and you can click on it and it pops up. And there's all the information you need for the giant rats. And then treasure. So there are loot box actors to use. And here's the part that is the differences. Now, you're not just getting Menace under Otari, are you? Because under the adventures, you'll also see there is the Pirates King's Plunder.
Yeah, Pirate King's Plunder is very fun. It's very short, but it's a cute sort of one-player choose your own type thing. And it's actually a surprisingly good introduction. Like if you know someone who knows nothing about tabletop RPGs, it introduces some of the mechanics pretty gradually. It's quite fun. It's hard to show stuff without spoilers, but you know.
Yeah, I figured I probably wasn't. I'm not even going to install it, so I don't have the temptation.
I saw a chatter ask a great question from Fourth Cypher, which is about the settings on import. If you show the Menace under Otari import screen again, the settings, the one that says use beginner box monsters, that if you uncheck it, will use the full bestiary ones, so the more complicated versions of each creature. So if you know how to play Pathfinder already, you know, if you're just playing it for the adventure, not for a tutorial, you can uncheck that and you can just use the full versions. And that's something we're really proud of because, you know, if you want to have the easier ones, you can, but you don't need to be forced to use them. And it all works. All the tokens will change to that. All the inline links will change to the right links. Like it does everything. And that's because the PF2e devs helped us with it. So I can see another question as well, which is the GM going to be able to edit the content of the module? It's not locked for copyright reasons, like in the same way that, you know, you can write on the PDF if you want. You can't redistribute it, obviously. That's where copyright comes in. But you can certainly edit it. So if you opened a journal and you wanted to change something, you could click the edit button. And you may need to familiarize yourself a little bit with our HTML if you wanted to have it look the same as how ours looks. But generally, it will work. You know, the H1 tags will look like H1 tags regardless. Yeah, there you go. There's an edit. So yeah, it's absolutely customizable. If you want to have our styling on a new journal, there is a way to do it. You just have to copy an existing one that already has the flag. You just duplicate it and then like change the name, and you can use our stylings on your own journals as well. Tikhal's telling you to mouse over the image so that people can see.
Isn't that crazy?
I love it so much. 8, 7. Are they actually on schedule? Do you know, like, is this going to be, like, is the timer going to hit 0 and nothing's going to happen?
Well,
That would be really funny.
I mean, it would be, but I've been told that it was going to happen, at least within... Yeah. I don't know, I'm sure someone from Paizo will say, hey, Tim, go to the thing now. But yeah,
it's now
we
late,
had 0.
So,
it's not. When will we get the key link sent to us? I think that happens just literally as part of the, like, you buy it and it's there. I don't know. I didn't buy the bounties.
Yeah. If you buy the bounties, I think it was the same thing. The only real difference is obviously we're, like, Foundry are hosting the module now so that we can keep updating it, whereas the bounty was hosted by Paizo. But from the purchase point of view, I'm pretty sure it works the same as the bounties. I'm trying to see if I've been messaged by anyone yet telling me to stop talking. I don't think so, so I'm fine. I'm not in trouble yet. We'll see how long it takes me to get fired.
Yeah, so I will say, hey, hello, this just in. Wait, where's my OBS screen? I need to click the thing. Oh, right.
Oh, is it up now? Did you find it?
Well, I think it's there, and it's probably at that address that I posted up top.
My goodness.
Hey, what? Our price, $10. That seems pretty good.
Is that a mistake? Oh, I think that's not including...
That's not including the PDF price.
That's not including the PDF. That's because you own the PDF. It's $10. Okay.
Yes. So I should point out I've logged in. I already own the PDF because it's logged in as my account. See, my account.
For a moment, I was very worried that it was being listed as cheaper than the PDF. That would be very funny.
Yeah. So if you happen to own the PDF, then that you get the PDF discounted off your price. I guess I could try and go like incognito mode.
Oh, something I want to mention for everybody who doesn't own the PDF like me, you will still see a discount. The full price is $29.99, but I don't have the PDF apparently, or maybe I'm not logged in. Currently, it's $5 off. Dollars, $5 off for a launch sale. So even if you don't own the PDF, it's actually on sale right now. It's kind of crazy. I don't know what happened. I don't know how they did this. I think we might have tricked them. Like, I think they might have made a mistake. So buy it quickly while it's cheap. It's absurdly good value for $25 It's like absurd, I think.
Right. I have Twitch chat right here. I could totally just post the link instead of putting it on the screen and making people type it. I was wondering
why you didn't, but a good Samaritan, did it for you, so it's fine. So yeah, finally, we can say that the price is public. I've known for about an hour what the price was going to be, and yeah, it's amazing. It's crazy.
There's an error when I attempt to buy it. I mean, I think that we've just DDoS'd Paizo's website. So Andrew, I would like to say I'm sorry.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if we can DDoS them. We want to. So this is okay. This is how we win. Okay, we win by giving Paizo money. This is how it works. If we give Paizo enough money, they'll keep giving us things for free. Well, no, not for free, for money. But so buy as many as you can until they run out of the digital codes. Like until there are no more numbers to make the codes with.
That's a lot. I'm even just trying to do the math. That's a lot. I mean, I know a lot of them will be invalid because it'll be hashed out, but that's still a lot.
You can buy multiple though.
You can.
Just buy a few billion.
Anyways, should we go back to pointing out all the really cool and amazing stuff that is up and available?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about, I think, the journal stylings and how pretty they are. That's all Nath. I mean, I put the pieces together, but he made the puzzle, if that makes sense. So yeah, Nath's CSS work was very, very, very good. Anytime I had an idea and I was like, hey, Nath, what if we added, some crazy thing? He would be like, oh, that's a good idea. My favorite thing with working with Nath with the CSS is that without fail, about 4 a.m. his time, he has some kind of brainwave genius idea, implements it, and then doesn't remember it in the morning. So you know that thing with the sepia tone on the images? He did that, like, he was just like, I should have been to bed 4 hours ago, but I just had this idea. I think I can do something, you know, incredible right now that'll blow everyone's mind. And it's like, it's so cool, you know, the way the colors come back when you mouse over it and stuff.
Yeah, I remember him showing this off to me. I got like a text at 2 a.m, which I obviously did not answer. And I was like, okay, I should have woken up for this, because that's just cool.
I can see a question about Outlaws pricing. I worked on the beginner box and Abomination Vaults. I have no real insight into Outlaws, so you'll have to ask some of the people that worked on that instead. But I can say that most likely, like Abomination Vaults, they're not announcing prices yet. I think we would know if they were. I'm going to reply to Booburn32, who's asking if the $5 discount is for owning the PDF. The PDF discount is the full PDF price, which I think is $15. The $5 discount is a launch discount. It's a launch sale. So if you buy it, I don't know how long it lasts. I don't know if there's pricing information on the storefront.
I'm sure someone in Paizo will either message me or post it in chat. But yeah, the $5 discount is to celebrate launch and beginner box day. $25 until the 25th. Oh, that's really handy. I can even remember that.
How long is that? That's like, okay, so like the first week or two.
So for anyone who doesn't know, beginner box day is the 23rd, 24th. So because obviously a day means weekend in Reddit talk. I don't know. Yeah, so I think we should show off some of the other cool features. First of all, I will point out that even the built-in stuff, so you can either choose to have Foundry specific maps made, or you can have the beginner's box maps. And we will start off with the original beginner box maps. No, that's not, I want the scenes, don't I? So here we go. The original floor number 1.
To everybody saying that they're not seeing the PDF discount, have you tried logging in? I know that sounds really basic, but I'm not logged in, for example. I'm sure if you log in and you own the PDF, I'm sure it'll show up.
So here we have the beginner box. It has all of the appropriate walls and lighting and journal entries that you would expect, all set up to make it all just work. But what I want to show you right now is the quality. So if you'll give me just a second, because I will do this, and then I'll go like, oh, quick transition, yay. And we'll pull up the two beside each other. And if you just, I guess I have to zoom this in to get sort of the same.
Yeah, this is a really fun one.
And I'm going to turn the lighting up so it's daylight. So that we can really compare
just for a one-to-one comparison. So this is a really fun comparison because I know you and I have said this to each other a lot of times, but the beginner box's flip mats, the A and B side maps, are some of the nicest ones. And I think it's because, you know, Paizo were bundling them as actual flip mats instead of in an A4 piece of paper. So they had extra room to add detail. And it's one of their nicest maps yet. And so we're very, very lucky that Paizo are giving us, you know, not only such a great map, but they've also let us bundle the full, the higher resolution, you know, even higher than the print one. So I think we've got 200 pixels per square, which is kind of crazy, you know, considering that I think about 5 years ago, industry standard for VTTs was 50 pixels per square, and we're 4 times that now. And I think the maps look amazing, especially when you put on the lights and things.
So on the right-hand side, you'll see this is the copy from the PDF. I extracted it, converted to WebP. This is what I was using myself. This is on the left. This is the version that's bundled with Foundry. And you can just see some of the details. Like if you look at the wood here and the wood over here, or even the rails, the edges of the railing, it's just so much nicer. You can see some jagged edges along the water, whereas on the other one, it's a lot more contiguous. Like it really shines through. So it's kind of awesome that they added this in for us. And I mean, Yeah, don't get me wrong. I really love the Paizo maps. Like for in-person play, I own a whole ton of these flip mats, and they're amazing for in-person play. There's a reason why
I really
buy all
like this one. Because we do, obviously, as everyone knows, we've included some remade maps as well for this adventure. But in my opinion, the benefit of having both is I think that they're both excellent at different feelings. I think that the Paizo ones are less grim. They're less sort of dark. And so depending on the table, if you want a lighter tone, I think they're perfect. They're a bit more cartoonish and a bit more lighthearted. I've just been having fun with these rats. I love the tokens. I'm sure everybody agrees the tokens are gorgeous. Speaking of the tokens, would you like to open the Menace under Otari compendium that comes with the system, the bestiary that it has?
Sure. Right before I do, I just want to let people know, one of the things with the Paizo website, you might not see the discount until you go to actually check out as well. So it might still record the price. I think that I got it automatically at the lower level because I am a subscriber, and I also have, like, it does all of these checks in all of these weird places. So if you're seeing a really high price, go to the actual checkout once it's in your cart, and you might see the discount there because it'll be listed afterwards. As a subscriber, my discounts stack a little bit differently, so I often see a different list price because of that.
If you're still having issues as well, Paizo support are going to be the best people to talk to because neither of us work for Paizo. Neither of us know how their store works as well as they do. So hopefully they can sort you out if you need help.
Okay, so here we are back the full screen. I'm just going to scroll out a little bit, and you wanted us to look at the...
Yeah, I want to show... I don't think we've shown this yet, and this is one of the coolest things. So if you open the compendium for the Menace under Otari bestiary... No, not the actors, like the compendium that comes with the system.
Okay. Oops, did I miss it? I missed it because I scrolled way past it. I'll find it. Beginner box bestiary. There we go.
So we have compendium mapping for every single creature that appears in the beginner box bestiary. Because for those of you that don't know, the Game Master's Guide in the beginner box includes a small mini bestiary of about 50 creatures. And we have art for all of them. And this compendium is the beginner box bestiary. But because all of the creatures in the beginner box are simplified versions of creatures which exist in the normal bestiaries, if you open the compendium browser and you type in Dragon Mage, you'll see that the normal versions are also mapped. And it does show up in the compendium browser. Andrew had to do some special stuff for that to work, and it looks really cool. So hopefully this can be a sort of a glance into like the kinds of things that can be done with this sort of content. And you can see you've got art for all of the dragon mages. And I gave that example intentionally. For those that don't know, the book comes with this gorgeous blue dragon mage art. And I had a lot of fun recoloring it so that we'd have art for every color of them. So hopefully people enjoy that. Yeah. There's tokens as well. So if you drag them out, they'll have the artwork and the token. Gosh, your scroll bars are hideous.
I normally play on Edge, but I had it set up for the Foundry site. So yeah, I don't like it either. This is why I play on a Chrome-based browser. But it's OBS. I'm blaming OBS and me not knowing what I'm doing. I'm no Matt. I'm not even trying to be Matt. I'm not even going to pretend.
Anyway, so the images, the artwork, the tokens, there's so many in here. We've got so much art coming with this, and as a sort of a tech demo for what can be done with it, I think it's so exciting. I'm really optimistic for the future of what that means about how art could be handled for the system in the future. I think it's amazing. I think it looks really cool. Just seeing all those images in the compendium, it makes me so happy. Instead of Mystery Man, you see like, it's great. And there's some art that comes with the beginner box for heroes as well. So if you're playing, with a group and you want to quickly grab, say, a dwarf cleric, there are some hero tokens and portraits that are in the module files as well. that you can pull out. Yeah, show art macros are useful, but that's actually a core feature. I can do it right now. If you right-click on the character and click View Character Artwork and then Show Players, it will work. And I just did it, and it popped up for Tim.
In the PF2e keybinds module, there is even the Show Player Artwork and Show Token Artwork. You can map those to hotkeys if you like, which is what I've done personally, because I may or may not have bugged Rental until he added that, because I wanted it. So yeah, if you're using the PF2e keybinds module, I want to say keybinds compendium, I think that's the one, you can map it in.
Speaking of macros, do you want to show people? So the import process puts every macro on your hotbar, but the first 4, they're just sort of room scene things. But the last 2, I was very proud of those. There's something I would use in my own game. So if you're one of those people like me that can never remember the numbers for encounter budgets or the simple DCs tables, I'm going to install this module on my Strength of Thousands world just for these 2 handouts, because I was making them just thinking to myself, this is going to save me so much time. So I hope that if you're like me, you enjoy these. I use these tables every single game that I play multiple times.
Yeah, so this is the beginner box artwork. So we also have all the Narky maps, or as people for some reason kept saying, Narchy maps.
Yeah, incompetence.
But why don't we descend into a slightly darker Narky version of Otari?
Yeah, so obviously we all know who Narky is, and this is very exciting because this is an opportunity to see Narky, unlimited power of Narky, when he can just go completely crazy on these. Some of the stuff he's been able to do with overhead tiles, because of course he's able to design them specifically for Foundry. He can make use of all of these special tricks and techniques that really just hammer home the quality of the maps. For me, at least, something as simple as the way that Ezrin goes under the beam here is really striking.
I remember when Atro first demonstrated when he showed the demo map in the helper channel, where he's like, yeah, so I made this thing so that we have tiles and you can walk under stuff. And I'm like, why would anyone ever use that? That's like, it seems really excessive. It seems like a lot of work. And then after 30 seconds, I was like, I need this for all of my games. Like just the walking under the spider web, being under the corner, going under a beam. It's just, it adds so much to the immersion. And it's why something like this type of map is perfect for a VTT. Like the Paizo maps are really good, but there's no way in person. Like I couldn't have a tile and then be like, and now just push your mini underneath this. It doesn't work. But for a virtual tabletop, you can have this level of immersion where, okay, I'm really hidden into the corner.
It's about what the maps are designed for. I think both sets of maps are excellent, and it's just they're both designed for different use cases. And there's a lot of places. I think the webs in the spider room, if you go forwards, I think 2 rooms, they are very very striking if you put Ezrin underneath them. Let me see if I can move him there.
We won't go too deep. We don't want to spoil everything.
Oh, you don't want spoilers? Yeah, sorry. I'm in my head. I keep forgetting people might care about spoilers. Let's not go any further than this then. There are some very good things in the later rooms, though. But yeah.
Do we want to come up to the? We can come up to the barricade and we can demonstrate the really cool macros.
Yeah, the barricade macro is quite fun. So for those of you that don't know, this room right here that we've just reached, to the north, there's a barricade that's been erected to block off a pathway, a branch. Now, if you look on Tim's view, you'll see some slightly weird, transparent stuff. That's because there's a hidden tile there, and Tim is a GM, so he can see it. If your players choose to dismantle the barricade, Naki made us some tiles so that we can swap out a version of the map that has the barricade dismantled, synchronized to opening the door, and even play some music, some sound effects of this dismantling noise. I don't know if those are going to come through to the stream.
It might not,
but you can run.
Yeah, I tried to turn on some of the audio. I think that I don't have it hooked up right. Oh no, wait, I'm getting stuff now. That's a little loud.
I have the stream muted, obviously, so I won't know. But
hopefully you can start hearing some of the music is wild loud. Yeah, I turned it down. But yeah, we can definitely try. Let's. So area number 4 is the barricade, and then it'll pop up.
Yeah, and there are
quietly or loudly. I don't know. What would you do, Cora? Would you do it quietly or loudly?
Oh, loudly. There's no way that could backfire. There's no reason to bother.
That sounds about
yeah,
right.
there you go.
So here you can see
I don't know if anyone heard the noise because, again, I have the stream muted, but you can see the tile got swapped out, and now it's a different version of the map that has the barricade dismantled and set aside. Any sort of other features of the dungeon where you can do this sort of thing, where something can be changed by what the players do, has had the same treatments. This isn't the only one. But we'll leave the rest as surprises in case any of you are players.
Yeah, I didn't even think about starting all the ambiences because we're not actually really playing. So I apologize to everyone on the stream. And of course, we also have the map of the town of Otari. Probably should have some a nicer ambience for the city.
Yeah, I think there's a good one for Otari.
I'll put on the fishery one. As soon as it loads to my computer and then loads to the stream, it'll start playing. And yeah, so the map here is interactive. So each of the different locations are mapped to the places. You click on it, and it opens up the entry. So if your characters want to go or they have got access to the journals, then you can see it. And well, I guess we can go to the journals. So they are color coded. So any of the red journals are things that players will have access to by default. So when your players log in, they'll be able to go to the beginner's guide, learn about character creation, and then all the things that are sort of in and all the game mechanics, and they'll have this available for reference to them. Any of the green folders are ones that are available for the GM to use. There are, of course, handouts that you can use to show certain things, and they're all built in, and you can just use the normal, well, I guess, show players button. So any of the journal entries you can pop up and show to players, and that's true whether they are just straight art or if it is a full journal entry.
Someone's asking if it's possible to swap the colors. Like everything else, you can change anything that you'd like. You can just right-click, click edit, and change the color to anything you'd like. So it's very, very easy. Yeah, so also obviously the map has these pins, and each pin brings up a room, sort of a location description, just like on the dungeon map. So if you clicked on, I think Crow's Casks has a good one. The amount of information, obviously, about each location varies a little bit. But Crow's Casks, you know, it has a little table with the different potions you can buy, that sort of thing. And this sort of thing should make it really easy to use Otari yourself as the location for your game, whether that's in this adventure, Troubles in Otari, or anything else. Although with Abomination Vaults, it's going to have its own Otari version, and it'll probably be similar, but there's a lot more information. Someone was asking if overhead tiles were a module or not. That's core Foundry functionality that will work right out of the box. In fact, nothing in the beginner box will require any third-party modules. It's just the module, like the beginner box module itself, is the only thing that will be required.
Yeah, you can see the active modules I have right now. So the beginner box, and then I turned on pings and setting extender as part of pings, just so Cora could ping during the stream. But
Yeah.
that's not needed, obviously, and there's nothing here that we've been doing that involves modules. So no, what you get is just out of the box. This is the Pathfinder 2e rule set, and this is the things provided for download as purchase, and that's it.
Someone's asking if it's possible to activate the code in Forge. Forge is not a different virtual tabletop. It's just a hosting service for Foundry. So it is. You will still activate your code in Foundry, and then you will just log into Foundry on Forge and install it there. They might have a slight delay sometimes. They do, but I'm sure that Foundry and Forge are working together to make sure that it'll work out of the box.
Yeah, someone in chat points out that if you get PF2e, a shopping experience, that module, one of the devs, as one of our extra life stretch goals from last year, essentially made every single shop in Otari. It's more designed to be used for the Abomination Vaults. There's no reason that you couldn't use it here, or if you want to set your own adventure in Otari. There's lots. One thing that's built into the game mastery box is about all sorts of things, different stories that you can create that are literally built in. Like, these are not prepared or ready for you, but here's a whole bunch of hooks. And as we mentioned before, under the actors, it's not just the creatures and hazards that are specifically in this adventure that come with it. So these are the ones that are in there, so don't look if you're playing it. But the actual beginner box bestiary itself has a lot more than that small list that you found. And they're in for specific reasons. A lot of them go with those plot hooks. And I will definitely take some time to say, yay, extra life. So we'll be doing another Extra Life charity live stream. And I think I've already mentioned before, but I'll mention again that graciously Cody has already volunteered to be run over again this year. So very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, and of course, I think next weekend, on Beginner Box weekend, I'm going to be GMing for some of the Foundry staff, and Cody may be there. So if you want to see him get run over sooner, and if you want to see Nath subjected to D20 live streamed, then that would be a good idea as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be out of town, but I'm going to at least try and tune in for a little bit of that, because rolling D20s in Nath are something that I definitely want to pay attention to.
Someone in chat was asking if the Naki Atari remake of the Atari map will be in the AV module. So the remake of the Atari map in his AV module is actually not by Naki himself. It was made by Nath, and Nath works for Foundry. So I will leave it up to you to determine if you think that it might be in the official sort of Foundry-made remake of the Adventure Path. I think Nath's going to polish it up, but I think it probably would be included as an option, just in the same way we've got the optional, which maps do you want to use here. I obviously, I love the Pathfinder, sort of the Paizo one, especially, and again, same as what we were talking about earlier, at the resolution that we've been allowed to work with compared to print. I mean, you can zoom almost you can literally do max zoom and you won't see a pixel. Like, it looks amazing, and it really brings out that lovely sort of woven tapestry texture that the Paizo map actually came with. It's great. I really like this map, but for people who want the choice, I think that Nath is likely to want to include. That's not a promise, but I think it's likely that he'll want to include his remake.
Yeah, I personally like the Nath version. I've been using it in my Abomination Vaults campaign since before it was added to Narchi's pack. And
that's what this is all about, right?
Yeah,
it's about
it's choice,
giving the GM the choice of which versions they want to use, and we would always want to include both, if we can.
Yeah, I think I do have it here. So let me. I can show everyone what it looks like. I'll just turn on the pack remake, and I can pull up. This is not included with the beginner box.
Yeah, this is his. This is Tim's personal personal world.
Yeah, so this one is not included, but this is the one that we're talking about. This is the one that Nath made. So it definitely, it again has that darker feel to it. So if you're looking for it, and for me personally, Abomination Vaults is all about that feel.
A dark adventure, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a different art style. It's another choice. Nath's version is much like bigger, so it can have more detail, like the street names. But of course, if you have lower end computers on your, in your group, I think I might struggle to load this one on my computer. So that's obviously sort of a trade off, and you know best which version you'd like. So no promises, but I'm sure we'd be interested in including it.
All right, so anyways, the focus today is not on the really cool stuff that Nath's done for Abomination Vaults. It's a lot on the really cool stuff that Nath has done for the beginner box, which I'm thinking all of you have have now purchased, right? Is Paizo's website still up? Does anyone have any report? I feel like there's a computer that's
refresh and see.
There's a server somewhere that I'm assuming is melting down.
Andrew White hasn't yelled at us yet, but maybe that's because he can't get the internet because he's been DDoSed so hard.
And he went into work today. All of Paizo's just down now.
Yeah, it is kind of funny, that you're wishing for that. I hope their store stays open as long as possible to absorb as much income as possible. I want everybody to get their keys if they can. So, I don't own this module yet. I think I could probably ask Nath for a key. I'm sure he'd give me one for free. But I don't need it because I have it installed already in my... I just won't delete it off my hard drive.
That's the wrong button. There we go.
Oh, someone's asking about some NPC artwork that isn't the monsters. That's a great idea, actually, because I don't think we've been able to show this yet. So basically, for those that don't know, Otari has been in a lot of different products, like the town of Otari. And through it all, various NPCs have gotten artwork. So if I... Don't worry, Tim. I'm gonna hand it over to you. So,
just make it
for example... Yeah, I'm going to make it pop up for you. Don't worry. So, for example, we have the official art of, Vandy. We've got Mea Menhims. This art's from the book. But what we also have is Paizo worked with us to make sure that we had art that's not in the book, but that's in other sources. So, if you look at Morlabint, for example. Morlabint has artwork canonically. He's been posted on the blog. He's an Abomination Vault, but it's not in the beginner box. But that's still included here. Paizo were very generous, and they allowed us to use all this art. So all of the NPCs will have artwork. And it went even further than that, actually, because there are some characters that don't have art in any canonical source yet. And for those, Paizo were actually so kind that they let us, they gave us new art from their reserves, so they had like NPC art from old adventures or art from, for characters that didn't have a name yet. And they let us use it sort of as a maybe you could say a placeholder before those characters get canon art, but I think that some of them might never. You won't have a character that's missing art, or you shouldn't. So, I could show you Magaloy from Crow's Casks, and we've got a very dashing-looking Tengu pirate. We've got, I think, Kilano Lathanar is the guy that owns the market. Oh, I showed you the text version. Oops, I'm sorry. If you swap to the image, though...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not anywhere. That's just that's other art, isn't it?
Yeah, so like I was saying, this is not art of Keelan O'Lathanar originally. This is actually from I think Rise of the Runelords. This is like a character in Sandpoint. But maybe you've got a player that'll recognize him. But I think that for those very narrow situations, I think you can sort of suspend your disbelief a little bit. And for everyone else, just having art for these characters is I think, a huge value add. If you want to change it, you know, if you want to go looking on Google to find a replacement, you still can do that. You can still change the picture, but we've got one provided for you to save you a little bit of time if you'd like. Because Paizo have this huge library of artwork that's available to them, it just makes sense really to let us dip into it, and it's very kind of them to do that. And they worked. The stuff they chose is so good. I mean, I don't know. Keelan O'Lathanar is a very specific character, and this art feels perfect for him. He looks so grumpy. He looks so mean. It's great. It's perfect.
I will say for fourth cipher, you might want to go and put that on the Foundry Discord and feature requests, because that's not a bad idea.
You could do that, but I will say that version 10 of Foundry, which is currently in development, is focusing on revamping how journals work. And I am told that this will be one of the many things that will no longer be an issue in V10. So we've got something to look forward to. When V10 comes, by the way, I'm pretty sure that all these modules are going to be updated for it.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be making sure that it's all compatible and making some use of some of the new features where it's easy to do. Let me see. So I've got a question. Is Paizo working to integrate hero point decks or crit fumbles? Paizo aren't working on directly on this content. So this, for example, module that you're looking at now was made by Foundry and by me, hired by Foundry to do it. But certainly, I think that from the conversations I've had with Nath, and from what he said on the last stream, I think that fumble decks and hero point decks was something that he thought was a really cool idea. And I think that Foundry are very excited to be creating as much content for us as we'll buy. So buy the beginner box, guys. Give Foundry give Foundry the success they need to keep making this stuff, and I'm sure we'll see more. I'm personally, and you know, this is me as a player of Pathfinder. I'm personally extremely hopeful that one of the next things they want to work on are token packs, because the way it was implemented in the beginner box is excellent, and if that extended to every creature, I would be so happy. So I would love to buy, you know, the bestiaries at full of Nat's amazing tokens. I'm going to show more tokens because Nath DM'd me. He wants more tokens shown off, which is great. I think he's rightfully very proud of them.
I will say we do have the hero point deck, critical hit deck, and critical fumble deck built in. Critical hit deck and critical fumble deck, you can turn them on in the system settings. We do need to put a little bit more work into them. The hero point deck, they're there, but we're not using the cards implementation yet. So if that's what you mean, that's just something that's going to take us some time. So the migration to V10, V11, or whatever else is going to be not on Paizo. It will be on the group that created it.
Yeah, so that's sort of what I was just explaining, really, is Paizo didn't make this. Paizo gave us access to assets and things. Well, they made it original. Yeah, they made the adventure, but the Foundry port was made by Foundry, and that means that's perfect because it means Paizo don't have to be bothered by, you know, Foundry breaking it with future updates. We will upgrade it. We will fix it before it ever breaks. So it will be updated for all future versions. It will always work. That's my guarantee. That's an official guarantee that it'll never break ever.
Takale pointed out one of the important things is that all of this stuff is tied into the system. So all of these items that are covered by the CUP, even if you don't want to buy this, will all be in the system if it can be in the system. And then the system will take its steps to ensure that things like actors stay up to date. So if you install it later, you get the latest version of the actors. For right now, one of the things that I'll say, and this is 100% on me, if you look at Kyra, we just did a migration and her... oh no, the Divine Font's fixed. Never mind. It's all good now. But the Divine Font was only at 1 out of 1 because we changed how it was being represented. So the new version now has it 3 out of 3.
But yeah, so there's no burden being placed on the system developers here. the creation of the module isn't being done by system developers in their capacity as system developers. So anyone who is working on the module and who also works on the system, that's sort of a coincidence, like a second role, rather than like, this isn't Foundry like saying, oh, you guys have to make us a module that will sell and we won't give you the money. That would be very funny, but I don't think that they'd get away with it. Someone's asking if the Zolgath boss art is missing. It's not missing. However, it is the Zolgath Stalker art. There is no unique that I know of. If there is, I didn't find it. So let me know what pawn box it's in, and I'll ask Nath if I can get access to those files, and maybe we can put it in.
Yeah, so some of the issues with the source, that's on the system. That's not on the beginner box. That's everyone who's volunteering to work. We've done a whole bunch of cleanup, but so it's fixed. We've caught it all, but we didn't want to release because I was worried that Nath would have a subsequent heart attack if we tried to do a release before we got this out. Now that everything works, we can release with impunity. I'm expecting a TM any second now because I know there's a 5-second delay.
Yeah, 5 seconds later, every Foundry staff member. Yeah. Well, the next system release is going to have a fix to torches, so hopefully nobody will think that the torches are the module's lying. There's a moment where I give instructions on how to use the torch item, and those instructions are based on a version of the torch that isn't in the current system release. It's in the next one. So the sooner they can release that, the better.
And that's one nice thing that will be demonstrated very quickly if we release a system update, and you'll have to reinstall the module, which is also the same way that you'll reset it. If you want to run the beginner's box a second time and reset all the macros, reset everything, well, the easiest way is to create a new world and then import into that, or just import over top of your current one, and both of those should work.
Yeah. In fact, you don't even need to make a new world. You can actually import this module into your normal world. So if you only wanted some of the game mastering journals, but you're running a homebrew campaign, you can still use this module. You can still make use of the bestiary and of the art that's mapped automatically. And as I mentioned, it maps to the real ones and the beginner box versions. So actually, even if you never want to run Menace under Otari, you should still buy this just for the tokens. I mean, at 10 US dollars for 50 pieces of nice token artwork, it's actually not that bad anyway. So,
and you get a single player adventure you can play on your own, even if you have no friends who want to play the beginner box. And if you have no friends who want to play the beginner box, well, hey, beginner box day is coming up, and there's lots of people who want to play the beginner box.
Mm. Have I been praised yet for my amazing recolors of the kobolds? Hang on, let me pull them all out so everyone can see how good they are.
Nath is correct. Canonically, SyrinScape does have the best ice cream.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that was elaborated on in the canon.
It's buried deep in one of the first edition things you didn't know about God's lore books.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so glad everyone likes the kobolds. The kobolds are the best part of the system, like of Pathfinder. So, it's only just that we get the many colors.
Did you put more out? Okay.
Yeah, I've got really bad connection to your game, and I'm blaming it on Canadian internet. It's your fault. My tubes.
My game's actually hosted in California, so.
Oh, okay. Well, we can blame California then, like as a state.
Well, I think that my server might share some of the bandwidth with Paizo's. So
oh yeah, that's why, obviously. Yeah. Well, America, like the entire internet of America is being sunk right now by people buying this. Well, I've tried to drag them out. You might have to do the others, or maybe they'll show up on their own time.
I'll pull it out of the actors.
I can see someone, Colorful Lovebird, mentioned Pnolls. Pnolls are the best thing in the universe, and Logan Bonner is a hero of mine. I think this is a good moment to show people my T-shirt. So you know, I wore it just for you guys. I wanted you to know I appreciated all the possums you sent me. Yesterday, well, not yesterday. It was like a week ago, last stream. And you know, feel free to send more at any point in time. Yes. Buy from Paizo to DDoS Tim's game. That is the correct thing that you should be doing right now.
Absolutely. Cora did mention that she'll be hosting a live stream next weekend for Beginner Box Day. Start of May. More information will be coming out soon. I'll be running Outlaws of Alkenstar for several Paizo employees, including Andrew White, who's been absolutely amazing through this whole process. So we'll be highlighting how to use Foundry and the Outlaws of Alkenstar module that will be out shortly, made by Sigil Entertainment Group. Secret opossums in the module? No, that's something. Sorry, we definitely can't spoil that.
But you know, there are. I mean, what is a possum if not a giant rat?
Well, that's correct. Here we can. Here we go. We'll just change this to. SyrinScape audio's in Beginner's Box. I think we saw some audio tracks in the playlist tab. Anything else GMs should know about using those assets? Any reminder in the journal entries, for example?
Yeah, so the audio is from SyrinScape's library, and it's got.
I think
we have some sound effects which are included in the macros, so they'll play automatically when you do certain things, like you know when you dismantle the barricade, it plays a noise, an appropriate one. In terms of the ambient tracks, that was something Nath did, so I don't know as much about it as I probably should, but I think that he has exploration themes for sort of every area. So he's got one for Otari, you know, some like nice. I think that's what we're listening to now. And then he's got floor 1 and floor 2 ambiances. So there's a lot of different things going on. That you there's not so many tracks. We didn't want to overwhelm people, so we tried to keep a reasonable number so that you could actually listen to them and know what they sound like.
Can I show off lights and ambient audio effects? I suppose we can.
There are some really cool lighting moments. If people are worried about spoilers, they might not want to see them, but I think we're okay because I assume most of the viewers are people who are considering this like as a GM, like from a GM perspective.
So I know that the crypt.
Yeah, the crypt has a lovely light. You can show them how the torch works as well.
Oh yeah. So here we are.
Proud of that.
Forgotten Crypt. We've got all of that, and there should be at the bottom the Lost Treasure, which is also in this cool Forgotten Crypt guy. And there's an Ever-Burning Torch, and you'll notice that the Ever-Burning Torch itself is blue, and it's been modified so that it has a unique blue glow.
Yeah, so if you grab that as Ezran, and then you disable the light source in the room because you took it, and then you equip the Ever-Burning Torch, it is the same torch, which is a very cool little detail that I did. I'm congratulating myself, but, you know.
And so you can take the eerie blue glow with you as you explore. So I think that's a pretty cool effect. Oh, I guess if we're going to be in the creepy place, I'll put the creepy music back on.
I love the fade on the tracks. It's such a small thing, but it's got these gradual fade in and out when you stop and start them.
It's not that you don't hear it; it's that it's very, very subtle. It's I'll point out that these are tracks made with SyrinScape ambiances, but they've been assembled by Nath. So SyrinScape gave access to the library, and they gave Nath a playground. And yeah, it's kind of cool how much they have and how much is opened up.
Yeah, they have a huge library of assets that they let us use.
We can't hear the music on the stream. I don't know. I can hear it. And they said that you could hear it before.
Is it just... Oh, it is actually at 0 of 0 for me on the playtime. Uh-oh. Did we find a bug?
No.
Did we find a bug?
Mine's still fine. Mine's loaded. I can see the time counting up.
It's probably my internet then.
It also literally could be that... that
it's too quiet, yeah.
I mean, I can turn it up. People said it was too loud before, but... This is not a Foundry thing. This is a Tim thing. Don't take this as a beginner box thing. It sounds awesome on my headset, so...
The audio is coming, it's coming through several steps, right? Because it's going up to the stream. But one of the cool things about audio on Foundry is each track has its own audio slider, but then on top of the GM who can adjust that, the players each have their own audio sliders, so they can turn the playlists down if it's too loud or too quiet on their end, up on the global volume controls.
So you should be able to hear some of it when Cora doesn't talk, and I don't talk. Although right now it's in like... Well, that was a bit sudden.
I can hear some piano keys. It's quite spooky.
How soon will this be posted on YouTube? However long it takes for me once the stream is ended to pull it down, convert it to the YouTube format, and then upload it, which is some time.
Oh, that's very loud now suddenly. I turned it up too much. I don't... Oh, it's really nice. I'm actually hearing this one for the first time. I'm not acting right now. I haven't heard that one before.
Yay, it's a true unboxing.
It's one of the very few parts of the module that I have not looked at very closely. I'm very familiar with most of the other aspects since I wrote or entered and formatted most of the journals, and I walled all the maps. Working with Naki is great because he knows he's designing his maps for VTT, and one of the things he does that makes me so happy is when he has an overhead tile or something, he'll make it so that the tile it's flush to the grid, so it snaps into place. You don't have to hold shift and get it pixel perfect. It just snaps in, and it's on the right spot. It takes seconds. It's so good. That's not a feature of the module that you guys will care about, but it saved me some time when I was doing it, and I'm very glad that Naki did that for me.
Yeah, well, look, we can be pleased. Wow, got all of this for $10. Well worth it. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's actually amazing value at $10. People want to see the walls interface. They want to see how ugly my walling is.
Okay. So walls we want?
No, that's tiles, Tim.
It's walls now.
There you go. You found it. The walls were. I think I walled it pretty well. Anyone who wants to judge my walling, just know the latest versions of Foundry are far more performant with regards to the numbers of wall nodes than past ones were. So you may think this looks like a lot of walls. This is actually fine, I swear, I promise. Performance is obviously a concern, but it is not a quantity of walls that would cause performance issues. And of course, the original maps are also an option. They have generally, as a rule, fewer wall nodes because the walling is more intricate on the remade ones. So if you're worried about wall number, you can also redo the walling yourself or use the original maps. So that all works as well.
So here, I'll turn on the walls. So yeah, you can see there's a little bit less detail in the walls here because there doesn't need to be.
Each segment is larger because something that's actually quite cool about the way the Paizo did their walls is because the overhang is black. You can get all of the shape without needing to contour it as closely with the wall nodes. So yeah, the original maps are walled a little bit more efficiently, thanks to how Paizo sort of made their map. But again, in neither version, you should not have performance issues in either version. Both will be fine unless I did something very wrong, which I don't think I did. I don't think this is the PDF to
No.
That's my version, right?
Yeah, this is the beginner box one. Yeah, we didn't import the PDF to Foundry one because we thought it was sort of it would be a strange comparison. The only thing we did, even with I can go back to our dual view and do. Oh, that's the wrong button. There we go. This is literally just in GIMP. Because this is the actual straight out of the PDF picture, because we thought that would be the best comparison. So there's no real upscaling to it. It's just what was imported.
Yeah, and of course ours aren't upscaled either. They're just not. They were never downscaled for print. They're the original, the one that came from the artist. Yeah. So they've not been messed with. They're actually a different shape from the PDF ones, very slightly. Because a lot of us, I'm sure, will know that in the print versions on the PDFs, sometimes they squeeze the squares a little bit to get it to fit in and look good. It doesn't matter for real play. And so because we have the originals, ours haven't been adjusted for the print formatting. And so the grids are actually, square, which makes it a bit easier as well to use on a VTT. So again, just Paizo giving us that original source map, it's great. I'm sure we all remember, a few months back, Paizo made that blog post about how they were making, they were looking into supporting VTTs better, and I think that this is the sort of thing that is exactly what we were hoping they would do, and that's giving us the original files for these maps, the ones that haven't been adjusted for print. Someone's asking if the maps were fixed. I'm not sure which errors you're referring to. I think there's a door missing. Is that correct? There's a door that's missing, or a door that's on the map but not in the description or something. That's the only thing I can think of. I actually don't remember, but we either usually if there are mistakes in the description, mistakes in the map, we follow the description for our remake, but we leave the original map as the map is. And the reason for that is basically we're not going to editorialize Paizo's map. Their artist did a good job already. But on our version of the map, we're not translating their map, we're translating their description. So in some small ways, there are situations where our maps will be different from Paizo's, and that's because ours are based on the text. I think that there's more of that in AV. I can think of a few places in AV where there's some small differences, but it's very minor. It's like there's a trapdoor on the north side of the room, but on the map it's east. So we didn't change their map, but we put it north on our version.
Yeah, so you can see here, there's now a door to the entrance of the coin puzzle, whereas there wasn't before.
Oh, okay, so that was us adding it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Naki got it right.
Facts. I think I can go over to the original one and... Oh, no. I guess it's an updated one. It's got it. There's the door.
That's what I was confused about. Because the door is there in my memory, so I couldn't think what the mistake is. But
it's because here I will switch back to the dual view. This will be a good demo, and you can see on the original map from the PDF.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, so either that means Nath fixed it without telling me, or that it's a PDF error, like the door was actually there in the original map and got removed after. Okay, well I didn't know about. That's really interesting. So yeah, we've got exclusive fixed. Yeah, we've got the Paizo errata for their map. We've got the extremely exciting exclusive secret door that you can only get on Foundry thanks to Paizo. So anyone who was worried about that one door missing, Paizo have fixed it for you.
Yeah, the very secret massive stone door described in the text that it was just not there before.
Yeah, they snuck a door in without telling us. Oh, that's really cool. I had no idea. Thank you for pointing that out. I had no idea that. See, I knew there was a missing door, but I couldn't remember where it was. It was very important to me. Well, we've got you, and Paizo have got you covered, so don't worry. I'm gonna change the music. The spookiness is getting to me. It's too much.
I can put on one of the happier ones.
Yeah. What else? Otari Wharf sounds nice. Like by the seaside. What does this sound like?
Sounds good. Nath was probably in a fugue state at some point.
He does his best work in his fugue states, I think. Trying to think of if there's anything I can show off that he did just to prove it.
No, it does not come with the smell of rotten fish. Cody has not yet integrated that module.
Oh, while we're talking about secret features, let me see if this one's still in. If it's in at launch, it's not a violation of my NDA to talk about it. Hang on. Oh god, the internet connection is so slow. Yeah, again, everybody who's having installation issues, I think your best bet would be to talk to Paizo about it, because we don't have any, we don't really have any insight into it. We're not necessarily going to know how best to help you with that. We can only guess.
I know I have a voice, but Cora's showing something, and I didn't want to interrupt. It seems like
no,
I'm
fighting my internet. We'll see.
Yeah, so for those of you who are having difficulties, I'd have to log out, and that would make Cora cry. So I'm not going to do that. But
no, don't log out, please.
If you go to your login screen where you've got your game world and your game system and your modules, you want to go to the modules tab. In the modules tab, you want to install a new module. It's easiest if you go to premium content. You'll know if you've activated your key because you type in the word Pathfinder, and it'll narrow down to a much smaller list. Beside Pathfinder beginner box, you should have a button marked install. Click that and that'll install the module. Should be version 1.0.0. Then you can go into your game world, activate that module, and then you're good to go. You can open up the journal entry and start the import, and you could see how quickly it was. See, this is what happens when you show up late. I showed up late, Cora showed up late, but if you show up late, you miss me and Cora and really cool demos of stuff. And a countdown timer that was apparently to Paizo's launch. Who knew?
I thought we were starting when it came out. I didn't realize we were starting with a countdown for it coming out, even though you told me. So that is my fault.
It's because we're really good at streaming.
Well, we started more on time than Hammering It Out did, so we're doing better than them so far. But yeah, I'm not sure if anyone has any more questions. I'm very much happy to spill all of the beans. I'm still fighting the internet, so I'm not able to show the secret thing quite yet. The PC characters aren't only the iconics, so the 4 beginner box iconics are the sort of the default ones that'll get imported, but you could use the non-beginner box versions of those iconics, or you could use any other iconics, or you could make your own characters. And if you were making your own characters, there's actually artwork, portraits and tokens for a few sort of different types of characters that are available. They're included in the module files, but obviously they don't have character sheets. It's like if you're making your own character, you can pull from them, you know, like elf cleric, elf fighter, that sort of thing.
I guess I could just make a token and show.
The ambient sounds are under the playlists tab of your sidebar on the right. There's a folder called sound effects, or ambience if you want the ambience instead. The token art should also be being applied to the compendium creatures, and it will work when you pull it out. Someone pointed out there might be a problem with the Zolgath. I will fix that as soon as the stream ends, and I will push it. So you won't have to deal with that long. And the artwork is updated like just by having the module enabled. You don't even need to import anything. The updated artwork in the compendiums will work automatically.
I feel like I was
I think
blind.
that might also the importer might also not have been setting the scale correctly. Because I noticed Zogran was looking a bit small earlier when we were dragging them out. But again, that's just something I can ask Nath to fix, and they'll update the importer. Someone's asking how long it took to make this. That's a really good question. Well, in terms of sort of absolute time, when did we start working on this? Let me think. I wonder if I can find when the repo was created for Beginner Box. Not to sort of share behind the scenes information, but I can give an estimate. Is there a spot where you can see when a repo was created? Do you know, Tim?
There is, but the easiest way is to look. And Nath posted that the Beginner Box was about 3 weeks of labor.
Okay. Oh, excellent. All right. Well, he solved it then. Yeah. We crunched a little bit on the Beginner Box. In that we were given the opportunity to do it sort of by surprise, and we were very, very excited to do it. And we hurried to get it out in time for the Beginner Box Day, you know, the Reddit event. I've finally managed to get the hidden feature I was trying to talk about done. This is not in the module by default, but it's in the files. Nath made like a little landing page type of thing. And it's just the same landing page, but it has some extra space around, and it's got a nice little frame. So by default, it'll just be the normal image. But if you wanted to, you could go in, and this is in the files, and you could set this one up instead. And then you could, people like to decorate their landing pages with like little pictures and things, and you can do all of that like you would normally for any of your other things. So we're trying to always have that sort of choice. I just made the scene so it has a grid visible. Let me hide it. But yeah, I think it's quite nice. But it's not, it's not something we thought everyone would want, so it's not the default one. The default one is also quite nice. I quite like how the default one's very minimalist. It's just, the Otari map. But if you look closely, there's actually some animated lights of the clouds that sort of make it look like the mountains are covered in mist, and it's very pretty. Oh, they're very bright on my end.
I don't know. Someone said Kyra doesn't have her shield, but she has her shield, so.
Oh, if she didn't, that wouldn't be. I think that would be a system issue, right? Wouldn't it?
It would absolutely be a system issue. Oh, I guess I should turn off Ezrin's torch. He's making everything look weird.
Oh, is that why the lights look so strange?
Yeah. There we go.
Someone says, does the token artwork work in other campaigns without importing the adventure? Yes. So if you just install the module and do nothing else, you will get the new artwork. But you have to, obviously, if you have the module turned on. And similarly, if you don't want the artwork, you can import the adventure and then turn the module off. And then you won't have the artwork and you won't have our journal styles, but you will have the content and the maps. So it's you can control like which parts in the same way that you can choose which parts to import, you can control how much you're doing. But obviously we recommend using everything because we think all of it is good. We wouldn't have put it in if it wasn't good. Can you install the module and only pull the Otari map and journals? We considered doing that. The reason that we didn't was that there are a lot of places where the Otari journals and the Menace under Otari journals would link to one another, and we didn't want to have a situation where you would have broken links if you only imported part of the content. So they are bundled together, but you can certainly import them and then delete half of them. You can just delete, like you can change anything. Like after the import, you can change anything. You can rename them, you can delete them. So if you just wanted the Otari thing, you could import Menace under Otari and then delete everything except Otari. If you're planning on doing this for the purposes of running Abomination Vaults though, I will say that Abomination Vaults is going to have its own Otari Gazetteer and map. And I think it has more information, the longer description. It's a bigger adventure. It has longer descriptions. It has more text, more characters, more locations. So hold out for that one. If you're planning on running AV, I say wait for our release. I think it's gonna be worth it. Nicodemus, there is no difference between the actors imported by the module and the ones in the system. The module doesn't actually contain the actors. It's just saying get them from the system. So if there's a problem, you might want to update your system version. That would be sort of my guess of what might be happening. Someone asked about a roadmap. Currently, the only dates that have been announced is I think the next one is Outlaws, being worked on by Sigil and some of the PF2e community sort of members. And then after that, we've got Abomination Vaults, I think. That's the order they're coming out in. Nothing else has been announced, but obviously I do know that, Foundry would love to keep making content for you guys. So hopefully, if we make them enough money on this one, they'll hire me back to do more. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they would do next. I would guess, again, this is like my guess. I don't know anything you don't, but my guess would be that they would want to do Bloodlords next, because prioritizing the ones that as they come out just makes sense. Keeping up with new releases makes sense. And then if the pace on that turns out to be fast enough that there's also time to go back and do more, then, that might be an option too. But this is all speculation. There's nothing announced past AV yet.
Literally today is the first day anybody has sold these for Foundry. So
yeah,
I think that there will be data that both Paizo and Foundry can go through next week, and then they'll have a really good idea how successful it was.
I think that the version, I think that the performance, the sort of the first day sales of this content will probably be informing some of those decisions, but I'm pretty confident. I think that the content we made speaks for itself, and I think the price is amazing. I think it's a really good value. Nicodemus, the importer removes the beginner box suffix on the creature names because we assumed people wouldn't want them. So the name is not enough to suspect that you got the wrong version. I would compare the characters to the ones in the compendium. If the importer did indeed remove Kyrie's shield, that would be a pretty serious bug, so please do report it. But I think it might not be what's happening, because Tim said we've got Kyrie's shield, right?
Yeah.
Am I?
Actually, I'm assuming
I don't see it.
Yeah,
it might be an issue in the system. Like it might, because I don't think that the importer would be doing that. I think if she's missing her shield, it'll be in the system. No, you're not being a downer. This is great feedback. We got playtesters messing around with it yesterday, And we got so much good feedback. I was so pleased. Well, we got good feedback, and then we got Tim's feedback, which was just a bunch of complaining about M dashes. But you know, getting people to get their hands on it is great because it's how you find the sort of the problems. And you know, we want to fix the typos. If you find typos, tell me about them. I'll fix them. I think Nath can confirm or deny. I'm pretty sure that the repo is going to be able. Is it going to be public and people can post issues on it, Nath? Do you know if you're in chat? Okay, so Kyra is a system issue. Oh, it's not an issue. She just doesn't have a shield in her normal version?
Yeah,
okay.
Her normal version just doesn't have a shield.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so Nath's going to have a bug report method soon. And I think I'll be reading those. I might not be. I guess I should ask Nath about that. But you know, they'll get fixed regardless. Yeah, it's not perfect, so get that refund as soon as you can. 0 out of 10, no secret opossum. You guys haven't found the possum yet.
It's well hidden. It's obfuscated in the code. It took a while.
It's very well hidden, yeah.
It looks like we broke Atro.
Andrew has done so much work on that importer. It's incredible. I'm so pleased that he managed to get it working with the Compendium browser, because I think that at least when I'm GMing, the Compendium browser is the main way that I'm getting my creatures ready, and having the art be visible it adds a lot, I think. To Lady Lady, if you uninstall the module, even if the journal still has the flag, the HTML will be calling to CSS classes that it can't find, so you won't get our stylings. If you want our stylings, you have to have the module installed, because the HTML is using CSS that is included in the module. So you will need to make sure that you have it enabled to keep our styling. But you can enable our module. I mean, there's not really a reason to disable it that I can think of. It's not gonna crash your game or anything. It just will be available when the journals want to find their stylings, pretty much. People want to know about Forge data hosting restrictions. Let me tell you something. Forge's bizarre means that modules don't count against your data. So none, 0. You can just you can just install it. For anyone who's not running on Forge, you know, if you're self-hosting and you care about like your fees for how big your install is, that's actually a really good question. I'm going to check right now how big the file is for me. Wow, is it really? Okay, 300 megabytes? That seems really small. There's a lot of art in here. Is it really that tiny? Wow. Yeah, there you go. It's tiny. It's like 300 megabytes. 310? Yeah, okay, amazing. There you go. Yeah, God bless WebP indeed. Nath loves gigantic files, and I just assumed it would be like 20 gigs. I was like, yeah, no, that seems right. That's the art is so high resolution, you guys. Like, it is so high quality. Yeah, no, the module's actually pretty lightweight. So,
well, it's the audio, it's all of the art, all of the tokens, and you have to remember there's a lot in here that's not even used in the module that you're getting, because it has all of the beginner box creatures, and of the beginner box, only a subset of about 1/5 of them are actually used.
Yeah. I think it's what, like 10 creatures are used in the adventure, but there's 50 creatures in the beginner box. Yeah, so you're getting crazy art for 50 creatures, and for the iconics, and for you know, you've got generic hero art. I changed Kyra's art, which is why she looks like an elf now, to the elf cleric as an example, just to show the sort of the generic hero art that you have that's included in the module as well. How big will AV be? I actually don't know. I don't think it'll be unreasonably large, but something that we'll certainly be looking into would be when we do the import. You know how you had the options to drag out Menace or PKP? We'll probably be splitting up AV, maybe one per chapter or groups of 3 chapters or something, just so that you don't need to import everything at once. And that will help with load times. You don't want, 3 books worth of creatures in your world at once, if you can avoid it.
And I'm sure that a lot of the learning that will happen with AV will actually inform how the adventures feature in version 10 is going to be structured, because there's a lot of cool stuff. Like, it's going to be the biggest adventure has been made using the version 9 prototype adventure feature.
I actually don't know very much about how adventure documents work, but I know that there are other things that use them. I think Demon Queen uses it.
Yep.
I think that this is a great sort of trial by fire for it, because the beginner box is kind of a weird product if you think about it, because it's got a sort of stripped down bestiary, core rulebook, and game master's guide, and two different adventures. It's got a lot of weird stuff in it, and so I think it's been a good test of adventure documents and seeing what they can handle and how they work, and I'm sure that will inform how Andrew wants to change them going forwards. But they're really, really cool. And oh yeah, Andrew just agreed with me. Or that feels good, because he knows what he's talking about with this stuff, it turns out. And yeah, AV as well, because like you say, AV is huge. The scale, I mean, it's those huge maps that it has, and they're really gorgeous. The remakes that Naki's been making are amazing as well. I think there's one of the floors we haven't worked out. It's too big. We don't know how we're going to do it yet. We're going to have to work that one out, like floor 8 or something.
It's the 9th floor. Trust me, it's the 9th floor. I know.
Is it 9? Yeah, okay. One of them is absurd, because it's like I think we were like, oh, that looks fine, and then we realized it was a 10-foot grid, and we were like, oh no, it's not fine. So yeah, we'll have to think about that, but that's a ways out still. We're gonna cross that bridge later. But it's exciting, the challenges that this sort of runs you into, because that's the only way that you can find out where how you can test the software is by finding these edge cases, these extreme cases, and I think Abomination Vaults is going to be a great move for that. I'm really excited to get back on it. Actually, I've missed it a little bit. So let me see if there's any questions.
No,
yes, please. Please remove unused enemies and NPCs. Yes. If anyone's curious, Tim's file structure is disgusting. I just looked at it. He dumps everything in the data folder, like on root. So his data structure is just like data, and then he's got mixed in with where it goes modules, worlds, systems. He's also just got a bunch of pictures and stuff. It's horrific.
So you have to remember, this data structure exists from when I first installed Foundry. That's 2 years of stuff, and I don't do that anymore. If you go into my... almost everything's in scenario assets, and it's folderized. I promise it looks nice.
It's really funny seeing how other people live. Like, damn, you live like this. Like, it's I every few months I completely reorganize all my assets to get them even more efficient and beautiful and sorted.
So this is how it actually looks.
My goodness, it's disgusting. I'm sorry.
It's by adventure. I've made all of these worlds, and then in each one of those, it's broken down into a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh goodness, I guess you do run a lot more games than I do.
Well, this is just the bare minimum of what I've run. This isn't even all of them. It's Pathfinder Society.
Yeah. Which Pathfinder Society syndication is actually something that you helped me with for this module, because, of course, I don't really play Pathfinder. I think I've played a few with you.
Yes.
But I'm not very experienced with it. And the beginner box is syndicated for Pathfinder Society play, and we wanted to make sure that nothing we changed in our module, none of the little tweaks we made would sort of break that. We wanted to make sure that Pathfinder Society GMs, if you are one, would be able to use this module. And that's one of the reasons that we have those buttons on import. At the beginning, when you're putting the world in, you can choose to use the original creatures or not, things like that. And there is a journal handout where I wrote a little sort of instructional
I found
instructional thing.
So I popped it up. There we are. Pathfinder Society, playing Menace under Otari. So you can create your own characters for Pathfinder Society. It's far easier to, if you want to claim credit for it, is just to use the pre-generated characters because they're 100% good. If you create your own, there are very specific beginner box rules that you do have to follow in creating it if you want to claim credit.
Yeah, and so basically it's a reminder that if you're using those rules, you know, use the PDF that you got when you bought this to make sure that you're following them completely, because the system, the Pathfinder system is for the full rules. So it works, but that you don't want to make assumptions based on what we've automated. Things like ancestry features are automated for the full rules and not the beginner box rules. Using the pre-gens is probably the easiest route, which I think was our first, that was the bug report we discovered earlier. The first proper bug report is it wasn't importing the beginner box versions, but it will soon, I think. That seems like something they can fix pretty quickly.
1.01 for sure. And
yeah.
And I will say, I want to say that we haven't pushed a fix for it. I'm sure that this one's not right yet. So if you look at the beginner box version of Kyra right now, I pushed a fix for this morning. Her heal spell only says 1 out of 1, and in her oh right, I can't do this unless I import her. So this should be 3 out of 3. That'll be in the next system update. So if you import after the next system update, it'll be fine. And then in here, there's only the 2 that she's prepared. She does not get the normal complement of divine spells that she gets access to. The correct ones from the beginner box will be on the beginner box version of her in the next release. So yeah, I fixed that this morning.
That's a good sort of example of the kind of thing that comes from how closely we work with the PF2e development team. Is a huge boon, because if we have questions about how we're doing something in our module, or if we notice stuff in the data and they're like, oh yeah, no one actually used the beginner box creatures before, so no one realized this. We have a direct line with them, and we can help each other out with this stuff, and I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's given us a lot of opportunities on our side, a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to improve. So it's been a really cool experience for everyone all around. I think that the only pain that anybody had involved with this at all was probably Nath from continued heart attacks.
Yeah, Nath, his sanity is a very valuable resource, and it is severely taxed anytime he has to look at the PF2e systems code. But he puts up with it for the love of the art, and we are very grateful. I find that it's best to just abandon all hope of saving your sanity. Just abandon it. You don't need it. I'm so pleased to see that you guys are managing to buy it, and that you're excited to use it. Obviously, if you have signed up for Beginner Box Day, the Reddit event, please use it there. Show it to everybody, and get them to buy it too before the discount ends. It's a public service. We didn't warn the Reddit guys about the beginner box launch, so they've struggled.
I will. So they've done something actually really incredible. I'm not sure who it is, but they got a sponsor for Beginner Box Day. Paizo has offered them a bulk discount. The Reddit moderators for everybody who signed up for Beginner Box Day are getting a free copy of the Beginner Box paid for by the subreddit. How incredible is that?
It's so cool. And I think it shows how, Paizo and Foundry are very confident in this product, I think. I joke that you'll find all my mistakes, but I think that we are really, really proud of what we made. And I hope people like it. I hope it's what people want.
So Tikel says the PDF, right? Not the module? No, they're getting the module. Has there been any feedback on the content from Paizo themselves? We launched the product, so they definitely got to see it, and they wanted it launched. So
yeah, you could read their blog post announcing the launch if you wanted. Obviously, that's going to be where you'll get like a Paizo, like as an organization view. in terms of the sort of the individual Paizo employees, I know that Andrew White and Alex have both been very active in our community server. It's been really nice seeing them and hanging out with them, and they seem to be really excited as well. You know, rightfully so. They've, you know, everyone at Paizo as well has been working quite hard to help, you know, make this happen. Some of the things that they've done for us have been amazing, letting us use the higher resolution artwork, fetching us NPC artwork. You know, Nath and I have had some really, really specific requests. Nath has a fun story where, you know, you list this incredibly specific character that you need, and you get back not one but 3 potential pieces, and they're all good. It's amazing. I mean, it's really great to work with Paizo because they have this. We love their products. We love their artwork. We love the stories that they write, and they have so much of this backlog of things they've made that they can just pull out, and it's like all this gold mine that they're sitting on, and they're like, yeah, do you want this piece of art? Do you want this piece of art? And they let us put them in, and it's so good. AV especially, we were showing the NPCs for Otari, but AV has even more. We've got every character in that one because the AV Otari has more characters.
Well, and people forget that, you know, this has been what Paizo's been all about. They're a book publishing company first. And if you look at, if you take a 5e book like Curse of Strahd and you take a PF2e book of any of the comparable adventure paths, you know, Paizo spells everything out. Everything has art, everything has maps, everything is just there in their printed product. Whereas with Wizards of the Coast, I mean, you're left with a lot of choice to make as the GM, or that you really have to make as the GM. You know, Paizo doesn't restrict you, but their adventures are so complete, so thorough. They have art for almost everything. It is just, it's amazing. Just the sheer volume of content that they had. I think that they melted Nath's internet connection when he was just trying to download a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah, I've had to delete a lot of things off my hard drive to fit like some of the stuff we've been working on, because of the resolution of the images that they send to us is kind of frightening how big it is. Someone asks, can we talk about anything regarding Pathfinder Infinite? So to be clear, I'm not a Foundry employee. I was contracted by them to work on this, so I have no insights about, and if I did, I wouldn't be allowed to talk about them into the business relationship of Foundry and Pathfinder Infinite. But speaking as a community member, I've not heard of anything, and I'm not really sure if there would be anything official. But in terms of individual authors, I know that many authors that have published works on Pathfinder Infinite do have Foundry modules that you can buy. Sorry, not that you can buy, that you can install if you would like to have, you know, their content in your world, and you can support them on Pathfinder Infinite or whatever other way that they have. So TKL knows a lot about this. I think one example, I'm forgetting the name. Tim, you might remember it. There's that adventure, isn't there? There's an adventure that has a Foundry module, and it's on Pathfinder Infinite.
Oh, I don't know offhand. There's
It's got like a bug swarm. Hive of Corruption. Yeah, there you go. Hive of Corruption. So that's just an example where I think that one, if you buy it on Pathfinder Infinite, there's the code for the Foundry module is in the PDF. So that's an example of there are already ways for authors to support their content on Foundry, which is very, very cool.
Like here is, as an example, here's what you get if you buy Strength of Thousands. This is huge. This is just one adventure. It's got everything, every map. Like there's more than you can hope for. And then with especially if you're a subscriber, getting the PDF for free, and then you can just pull out all the art.
I'm very jealous of you because shipping to where I live is like 40% of the book cost again, or something. I think I tried to buy the core rulebook from Paizo, and it was more shipping than the cost of the book itself.
Yeah, it's not quite that bad, but I live closer than the majority of Americans, and getting it across that line that's the border is very expensive.
Yeah, I'm very jealous, but you know, the PDFs are pretty versatile. You can extract images from them, so I have no complaints. And if they're going to give us premium content like this, then hopefully the Europeans in the audience, the fellow Europeans, will have you know, all the content they can shake their fist at.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see. As for how CSS classes and things like that will propagate out, it's a good question. I don't know, but that's definitely not something I think either Cora or I can really speak to.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to show off during our unboxing. Let me have a quick look, but I think
We've done a pretty
have
thorough
you seen the
job.
loot sheets? We've got loot sheets for all the items. That's not that flashy, but it saves some time.
Well, all the items, I'll just show those off quickly. The special ones they've
Oh
got.
yeah. So in the PDF, a lot of items have artwork, and so what we've done is the items in the loot sheets will have the normal PF2e art, that you get when you import the item from the compendium. But we also are including the Paizo artwork. And if you right click on it and you click view item artwork and show players, it works the same as a journal. So when your players get that shield, the polished shield, you can just show it to them and they'll see a big sort of image pop up with the official Paizo artwork that they can look at. And I think that's a nice touch. Because I think that's something that a lot of these items do have art, but it's always in like a game master's guide or something, and the players never see it. And I think it's quite fun when a player finds a magic sword, that has a really cool description. Being able to show the artwork of that sword is quite exciting.
I guess I can put the ever-burning torch back. But yeah, like I said, this has been so customized that specific ever-burning torch that you can award to your players by just looting. No, so I can put all of Ezrin's stuff in here.
Who just stole his stuff? Yeah, we've got effect items for automating some of the effects that you can have applied to you. So for those who've run it, you'll know that on floor 1, there's a shrine that can apply effects to the characters depending on how they interact with it, and I've made effects for those that automate any statistic changes that happen as a result of whatever buff or debuff they get. And otherwise, they just help you track the duration. This was really easy for me because I've made a terrible module that just does this for exploration activities. So I had some experience. Yeah, and it's just a handy thing, it's helpful. If you're running this, you don't want to have to remember in your head, how long have they had this buff for? The PF2e system will track the durations for you. It's got the clock built in. We didn't do that. That's just a built-in feature, and it can track the duration of the buffs for you.
There's some ambient audio for you.
Yeah, I actually love the audio. I'm listening to the seagulls and the ocean sounds right now, and I feel like I'm actually by the sea in real life, and I keep thinking I've walked down the street. It's very good. Could have been recorded just here. Unfortunately, it wasn't. That would have been very funny. And yeah, the ambient sounds placed on the scene is a good thing to show people because that's something that's a feature of Foundry that it's always been there for me. Like it's been here longer than I've used the software, but I've never really used it myself. I've never really made use of it, and I think it's actually really cool. So as your players approach the room with the kobolds, they'll hear louder and louder kobold noises the closer they get.
Well, one of the things that I did when I converted a little bit of the Demon Queen Awakens to do a demo for Paizo, and then the hidden wall where there's the rushing water behind it, I actually had it, and I got them to walk up to the wall, and rather than do a perception check, they could be like, hey, I actually hear water.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And then I dumped them down, and they're like, hey, I can't go back up. Like, that's because it's a water slide.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Hey, these Foundry guys are pretty good at making making adventures." It was thanks to you. You did it yourself.
Yeah, it was definitely all me.
Yeah,
I'll take 100% of the credit that I'm not due.
Yeah,
this is what I learned from Cora's last stream. It's
you have to be your own advocate, you know. I think you've done a lot for the system. I mean, it's not a very controversial statement to say that, given that you're project manager. I think it's quite an easy statement to make, but it's really exciting. I think this is such a great time for the community. You know, speaking as a community member, it's so exciting having premium content start dropping. It's what we've all been wanting for so long, and we get to sort of put our money where our mouth is, and hopefully it's a success. That's really just I want to see more. I'd love if we could just get every AP as they're released. It would be so cool.
I mean, it's all going to be how well this does, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna do well. I think people are really excited for it. The amount of people who've been asking about when it's going to drop over the last week, or what the price is going to be, I think that there's a lot of people who are very excited.
Yeah.
Oh, you found... Wait, I am first in the... Oh, that's funny. I wonder why they put me first. I feel like Andrew should be first. Oh, which Andrew? There's like 3. Yeah, I would have put Atro first, but it's very funny.
It's like an academic paper. You have the person who did all the work, the person who just attended the meetings, and then the supervisor. It's totally right there.
Nath did no work and only attended meetings. I can that is a very accurate description. Nath definitely didn't do all the CSS, all the tokens, all the artwork. No, it's been a great group effort. I think that the team, that you're looking at in that credits window is, it's been so great working with everybody. I think having, Naki doing the maps was such a great thing. I mean, I don't think they could have picked anyone better than, because Naki, he's working with the community. He's he's a part of the community. He runs these adventures himself. And it seems very right for it to be from him. And if you scroll down, of course, we've got... we go. Look at these guys. Look at these cool people. Yeah, so there you go. We've doxed every PF2e system dev. We tricked them. They're all here now, doxed, out in the open. Yeah, that feels really good to see that, because everybody, and there are far more people who have contributed to the system than those listed here. If we put every name, the module might not be 300 megabytes anymore.
Well, and the thing is, even if you go and look at our GitLab, it's not even representative of all the people in the community who contributed. Because bug reports or people who've managed to slip in and done a ton of data entry on the data entry world, like, they're recorded in the changelog, but if you just go to the GitLab, it's like, here's these people, and it's like Shark, and then it's like Tim, and then it's like everybody else.
Yeah, and there's people who've contributed. Nath gave us new tokens for the iconic characters, or Sasmira gave us special dice, like 3D dice, just for the system. So there's people that have contributed assets, like art assets and things. This is such a huge accomplishment by so many people, this system. And it really is. And like you say, even just people who post a good bug report, they're helping. Like I was saying earlier, having people proofread your stuff and give you a list of mistakes you made, it's what you need. When I was at university, one of the last things I would do when I nearly finished an essay, always, every single time, was I would send it to my brother, because I need someone else's eyes to see it, because they will see everything I didn't see. You need, like, other people's help. Yeah, so the special system dice.
I have to turn them on, don't I?
Yeah, you'll have to turn them on. I actually don't remember where they are, but I'm sure you know.
Yep. Module settings, my dice settings. I'm gonna just change it to...
Yeah. Anchor 89. My recommendation to you, which is definitely not biased, is if you have any friends that you want to show them Foundry, I think the beginner box is an amazing introduction to Foundry. It's it's a great adventure. It's Paizo, one of Paizo's best adventures, I think, considering what it is. It's very small, but it's actually a really fun adventure, and it's got a lot of text that will help people learning to use Foundry and people learning to use the system itself that we've written into it. And yeah, they'll have no excuse if you get it for them. So that's my recommendation.
Yeah, people say, oh, should I try this or should I start with this? I'm like, no, start with the beginner box. You can use the normal rules, and Foundry's even set up to important, just use the normal rules. You can't claim
Yeah.
society credit, but that's fine. And if you do claim society credit, it gets you 2/3 of the way to leveling up a character that you can then build afterwards. But yeah, the beginner box is the one to try out if you're coming from another system, because Paizo has set it up so as you go room to room, it introduces one new concept each time on the first floor, and you get to learn about all the different modes of play. And then the second floor is kind of like this open dungeon, and there's multiple branching paths. You can decide which way you want to go. It was just the most intelligent introduction to a system. And it's not like Mines of Phandelver, which is going to take you a long time to play and then kill you. In this one, it's going to be a short amount of time to play, and then it'll kill you. Unless you happen to have a heroic witch with a floating crystal who runs up to the big bad boss just to provide flanking and somehow miraculously does not get hit.
I mean, look, flanking, it's critical, okay? But yeah, no, it is. It's designed as a tutorial. And so it was actually, it was great because we could just keep slipping in the Foundry tutorials at the same time. So when they're explaining how to use the map, we can say, and this is what a scene is like. And yeah, if you're interested in getting started with Foundry, or you have a friend who is, this is actually a really good place to start. And I think that's one of the really cool things about us being able to release this as our first piece of content.
And if you're lacking confidence in running it, well, next week, Beginner Box Day, there will be a live stream with Cora as GM. You will see expert GM playing.
I am an expert.
And everything that I taught her on how to kill players will be directed mostly towards Nath.
I'm probably gonna. I don't need to kill Nath because he rolls really terribly. He has dice curses. I'm gonna see if I can install the statistic. There's that module that tracks the statistics of every player's roll outcomes. I think I'm gonna install that one just so I can see if Nath's dice curse is real or not. But yeah, hopefully Cody will be there. I can't remember if he's coming or not. I've asked him to, but he might be busy. And if he's there, we'll be throwing him under the bus as well.
Well, and I promise that there are no mimic fountains. There may be regular fountains that will try and kill you, but no mimic fountains.
Mm. All right. Well, I don't know actually how long this talk was scheduled to be.
It really wasn't, but I think we've definitely done our unboxing. I think
I don't want to show much more because we want to leave surprises. we want to leave surprises, don't we? For people. But if anyone has any, I think we're up to speed on the questions. I don't think there's any questions left. But yeah, so anyone reading this, if you're interested, you can check it out. You get a discount if you're in the PDF. It's on sale for the next 2 weeks, $5 off, and then 15 more off. I think if you own the PDF, so it's like 10. It's really cheap. You'll get, the 50 tokens and stuff. PDFs from Humble Bundle will count. You just have to make sure that they're redeemed to your Paizo account. It doesn't matter where you got it from. And if you're having trouble purchasing it, talk to Paizo. Hopefully they can help work it out for you. And I will hopefully see some of you in our community server over the next few days.
So if you find stuff that's broken, feel free to come and report it either on our Discord or on the GitLab. Both of those links are right here under Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So you see the guide will send you to the wiki. The changelog will give you the most recent changelog. Both of those are on our GitLab. And then a link to the Discord, which is the community Discord. We're happy to listen there. If it's actual module issues, I think that something will be set up, but I will leave that for Foundry staff to answer.
Yeah, Nath said he's going to set something up. So, watch that space. I'm sure that we'll be able to start linking people to a place to report issues soon. In the meantime, if you post about them somewhere I can see, I'll try and catch them. But I already have a pretty good list, so that's wonderful. I'm excited. A group of opossums is called a passel, but I like to say posse, a posse of possums. I think that's better, so that's what I call them. Possums will mug you and take your food and your money. Good night, everyone. It's very late. I'm going to bed. I'm not. I'm going to hang out, but I'll talk to you all another time.
Thanks for joining us today. It was kind of fun, and I don't know, maybe in the future you will see more of Cora and I. But
it'd be fun.